Yeah, yeah. We just chillin' and vibing. Good conversations with good people. Oh. Good conversations with good people. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Chillin' and Vibing Podcast. Today we have a phenomenal stand-up comic, actor, and writer, uplifting every crowd and stage with her laughter. Y'all welcome, Xazmin Garza.
What's up? Thank you for
What's
having
going
me.
on? I appreciate you for coming to Chill and Vibe.
For sure. Let's start chilling and vibing.
So Xazmin, where are you from?
I grew up in West Valley City, Utah, but I've lived a lot of places since then. I haven't lived there in like more than 20 years, but that's where I grew up. Everyone's surprised by that, I know. But yes, that's where I grew up.
Utah. Oh man, I can't stand it. I can't stand cold
Yo,
weather.
yeah, no. The way you just said it is the way everyone says it, especially black people. Utah. That's the way everyone says it when I tell them where I'm from. Utah. And they don't trip out about it being cold either. They're usually like, "Are you Mormon? Do you live on a farm?" You know? And the answer is no to both of those things. But yeah, it was cold. Not as cold as the East Coast though, man. Boston is the coldest place I've lived, and nothing compares to that.
So like, I gotta ask, how was it growing up in Utah?
It's how you think it was. It wasn't dope, you know? But I had, as far as Utah, the atmosphere, the environment, the politics, the Mormons of Utah, that was not dope. But I had really good friends, man, because I spent my whole childhood there. And so I'm still friends with them. With the, kids I was chilling and vibing with when I was a little girl, I'm still doing it. So, um I consider Utah home and the place that like molded me, for good or bad. It's they're responsible for this.
So when was that moment you realized you was funny?
The moment, there's not really a moment, I don't think. I think it's just like watching the way people react to the way you tell stories and stuff, you know? Like when I was growing up, the group of friends I was telling you about, if something crazy would happen to us, like we'd go back and we'd want to tell everyone, and my friends would be like, "Oh my God, you're never gonna believe what happened to us." Hasmin, tell them, you know. And so it was like stuff like that. Um, my family, like when my little sister was upset, my siblings would be like, make her laugh," just things like that.
That's what's up. Who are your top three comedians?
That's tough, man. Uh, right now, like, the my top person before I started stand up was Chris Rock. He was my all-time, his special, um God, why can't I think of it right now? This is embarrassing. I'll think of it before the end of the thing. But he had a special that just impacted me. It really impacted me. And I was dating a guy, a return missionary. That's what they call the Mormon kids who go off and, whatever. I was dating this guy in Utah who was a return missionary, and I asked him to watch it, and he didn't like it, and I was like, "That's a wrap, dude. Like if you don't like this, you don't like me." That's how I felt about
Mhm.
Chris Rock and that special. Um, but since then, since I've been in stand up and know more about it, and have more of a nuanced like taste and stuff, Ali Wong is definitely, up there for me. Bill Burr. And I really like this comic that not a lot of people like. His name's not a lot of people know, I should say. If they did know him, they would like him. His name's Fahim Anwar. He's like super silly and just animated, and I really like silly comedy. That's just like, I'm not taking this or myself seriously. You know what I mean? Pain. Bring the pain. That's the Chris Rock special.
Oh, okay, okay.
Bring the pain. Okay.
So, like, being funny, how do your spouse know when to take you serious?
How does what?
How do your spouse know when to take you serious?
My what?
Your spouse.
I'm fucking with you. I don't have a spouse, bro. I don't do that. um I have, people in my life who I'm dating and doing other things with, but I not a spouse? No. Um and what do you mean how they know when to take me serious? I'm not one of those people who's like on all the time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They know when I'm serious because I take a different tone, and I either am about to talk to them about something like kind of sad slash serious, or I'm pissed, and you never don't know when I'm pissed. So I don't know. I hope that answers your question. I goof around a lot, but I don't really fuck with people who don't. You know what I mean? Can I swear on here?
Yeah.
You
You're a
sure?
grown woman. You're a grown woman. I can't tell you what to do.
Okay, all right.
Can you tell us about a moment that just stuck with you, a memorable moment while on stage?
Mm, I've been doing it for 11 years, and so those moments kind of like, um, yeah, one I always remember is I started comedy in Boston, and there was a show called the Mendoza Line, and I think they're still doing it, but it's in a little teeny room in this bar in Cambridge, and this basement bar in Cambridge, and they don't have AC in there in the summertime, and it's humid in Boston. It's hot as hell. It's just unbearable, man. You're going up there. I'm having my like Frida Kahlo sweat mustache and everything. But you take it because it's such a hot, fun, not just hot like literally, but I mean hot like exciting, and a little kill box is what we call it. But right before I was supposed to go up, this comedian who I love and adore, George Severus, was giving me the most wonderful introduction. And he's like, I love this comedian. She's so great. No, no, no. And right when he's like in the middle of that, this drunk chick just all over, dude. And George doesn't know what's going on. And I'm looking appalled. I'm just like this. And George is like, why isn't she loving this introduction that I'm giving her? And I went up there and I had to address the puke. And then people just listened to me while we could all smell it in that hot, tight. It was awful, man.
Uh,
Yes, and then I'm up there and they're bringing the mop out, and oh God, it was horrible. It was horrible. But that's one that sticks out to me. I know way, way more things have happened, but I don't know. I think I have ADD, so I like forget stuff really fast. Plus, if it's bad, I tend to push it out. I don't want to remember it, but that's one.
so, like, what do your comments be about? Your jokes be about? Life experiences.
Yeah, yeah, both of those. That's like a very general, broad question that we get a lot. And the best way to find out is just to check out my comedy. I can tell you this: when I started comedy in Boston, it was all about just writing. It was very cerebral. The scene there is kind of, well, where I started, it was just very focused on the construction of jokes and stuff. Very smart comedy. Um, and I was strictly just worried about jokes, jokes, jokes. And then I moved to New York, and I was like, oh, this is just about, which is what comedy should be about, being funny on a stage with an audience. It didn't matter the construction of the joke or how clever or witty it was or whatever, you know? It was just about being funny in the moment on the stage. So my comedy changed when I moved there. And now I'm in Arizona and taking care of my mom. And my comedy has changed once again. It's more about my life and stories about things that happened to me. I have a lot of material about being a caregiver, you know? So it kind of just evolves with you, the way you evolve. Like if you look at um, Chelsea Handler and Sarah Silverman, you
Mm-hmm.
can definitely say the same thing about their comedy. Like as they grew as people, their comedy grew and changed and evolved for the better, if you ask me. Like I used to think Sarah Silverman was a racist bitch, man. You know what I mean? I used to hate her comedy. And the it's changed so much. I really love her comedy now. This last special, loved it. The one before that, loved it. And she addresses that stuff, that she said some racist ass shit, you know? And she apologizes for it. A sincere apology. Not one of those like, what? I got canceled. People are pissed off. Let me hurry and apologize, you know? So comedy just changes with the comic.
Yeah. Have you ever had a show when someone couldn't take a joke?
Of course, yeah. Yeah. Do you watch comedy a lot?
I'm starting to now because I had a lot of
Yeah.
comedians come on, and I've been going to a lot of shows lately.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I used to have this joke in Boston about John Benet Ramsey, and it used to walk people, you know? White women in their 40s specifically, it used to walk them. That means that they get up and walk out, you know? Um so yeah, but if you believe in the joke, you just keep doing it, you know? You're not doing comedy for one person. You're doing it for you. You're putting out there what you think is funny. And what you think is funny isn't going to be the same thing that Carolyn with a stroller and no job because her husband pays all her bills, she's not going to think it's funny too. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's okay. You don't want Carolyn as your audience. So that's fine.
I saw you had posts on your Instagram when you was on the show. Agency and other comedians told you to lie about your age. How did that make you
Mm.
feel?
Um, Mad. It made me feel mad, but it also made me feel very grateful that I know who I am. And I know I would never take advice like that because I'm not ashamed of my age. You know, I'm not ashamed about anything about me. Um, so it made me mad that people in the industry who I respect are conforming to that very sexist, ageist practice of lying about your age if you're a woman.
Mm-hmm. You was on the show Second Chance. What was that experience like?
It's called Second Chance Stage. It's streaming on HBO Max still. And from beginning to end, an amazing experience. I really the one thing I always say about it is that I had the time of my life. I really did. I had the time of my life from beginning to end, from the very first phone interview that they did with me to the time I flew home. You know, it was the time of my life, man. They treated me so well. They supported me. I never felt like I was in a thing that I was nervous about what it was gonna look like. Um, and it was very reinforcing about all the work I did, all the hard work I've done with comedy. You know, it was very validating.
How do you stay motivated and inspired?
Good question. I watch a lot of good stand-up comedy. You know, last night I was just scrolling on TikTok and I came across Kyle Kinane. When I first started comedy, I loved him so much. I kind of lost track of his career, and I was so happy I found him on TikTok. And it was a long bit that he posted. So good, so good. Just the details, his expressionism, the little tags with every line. I mean, he's such a good comic, man, and it inspired me. It really made me like, shit, I gotta look closer at these jokes and really tighten them up and make them better, you know. Seeing Ali Wong's success as a woman who I relate to her, you know, that's very inspiring to me. Oh, a big one, Leanne Morgan. She is like in her late 50s, I think. um this white lady from the South. She blew up like in the last 2 years, and she's been doing it for more than 20 years. That is amazing to me. That gave me so much hope, you know. I'm
Mhm.
so happy for her. Never met her, nothing like that. Thrilled for her.
Okay. What's the biggest challenge you've faced in your comedy career?
The biggest challenge, um believing in myself long term. So believing myself was the very first step to doing the very first open mic, right? And
Hmm.
that might sound like an easy thing to do, but it's not, man. It's not easy to believe in yourself, you know? Um, and the only way I dared to do it was when me and my ex-husband moved to a city where I didn't know anyone. So I was like, yeah, I'll embarrass the shit out of myself in front of people I don't know. You know, no one knows me here. So that was hard to take that first step. And then when you're bombing over and over again in those first 2 years, it's hard to keep going. But you have to believe in yourself. You know, when I moved here to Arizona, I was like, I'm going to come from the comedy mecca from New York City to Phoenix, Arizona. My dream's over. But I had to believe in myself to keep going, you know? And so that's a challenge every time.
You're an actor as well. When did your acting career start?
I wouldn't I act, and I've acted in things, but nothing big. You know what I mean? Which isn't to say I shouldn't like diminish it like that, because I absolutely love acting, and the projects that I've been in were so fun to me. I did this NYU students like film project right before I left New York, and it meant I had to get up at 5 a.m. on the weekends and go to the Lower East Side and film something that no one was going to see, but it was still just so fun to me and a challenge. And so I did it, you know. But I would say that it started, shoo, ask my family, they'll tell you I've been acting my entire life, you know, for real. Like reenacting scenes of my favorite movies. And I'm good, you know? Like, I would reenact scenes for my friends and my family, and they'd be like, "Ooh, you should have been Nestor," you know? But like the real thing that I put on tape for people, I had a friend where me and her would do like little sketches and stuff and film each other. Um, but and that was like in my early 20s. But when I did something that we put it on the internet, um, it was when I was a Boston comedian, and I did this little series called Scalpers. And I was like the female scalper in it in Boston, and like tough girl, you know. And that was really fun. After that, I was like, I want to do more. I have to tell you this, okay? You remind me so much. Have you seen the movie Outcast? I mean, not Out, I'm looking at your shirt. Have you seen the movie Poetic Justice?
Yeah, yeah,
Poetic
I did.
Justice?
Yeah, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Hmm.
Guy Tori?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the guy who was always brushing his hair. That's who you totally remind me of. Anyways, okay, I had to tell you that.
Can you share a moment when comedy helped you through a difficult time?
Yeah. Yeah. When it was very recent. When I moved here 2.5 years ago, I was so depressed. I had no friends here. I didn't want to live in the suburbs, man. I was living in the big city and loving it, you know? Plus, the men here are awful. You know, in New York, I had a vibrant dating life, and I that just completely went away when I moved here. I was just very sad, and comedy became something that was part of my self care when I came here. In the past, it had been strictly an ambition for me. Yeah, I would have fun doing it, but it was like I want to make it. I want to make it. I want to make it. I was competing with the best other female comics in whatever scene it was, and that it was a competition. It was like, who's going to make it first? I have to make it. And I came here, and that was like gone. It really just became about my self-care, and I put time aside for it every week to get on stage and make people laugh and make myself feel way better and dig me out of that hole, you know?
Mhm. So you moved from New York to Arizona, and now you're a caregiver for your mom. When did that journey start? 2 years ago?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years
Hmm.
ago.
Yeah.
So how has that journey? Because my mom, she has early stage of dementia also, and how have you dealt with that?
Um, I guess it's different with time. At first, I was a wreck, man. I was really, really depressed and sad about it. And we all know that time's coming where our parents are going to leave us, but you're not ready when it comes, you know? Um, so when I first got here, I was still really sad. I would come in my room and cry, a lot. Uh, but what happened for me, taking care of her is we ended up getting close in a different way. Um, and it just really ended up being something beautiful to happen to my relationship with my mom. And I started looking at this time with her as a gift.
Mm.
And I still get sad, you know, but not as frequently. And it's a different kind of sadness. I look at it much differently now.
Yeah. When I first found out about my mom, I ain't gonna lie, I cried. Like, because I mean, it's nothing I can do, physically, just
Yeah,
be there, and
yeah,
trying to spend as much time with her, and before the memories start to fade away.
yeah. Exactly, man. I went through so many stages. I went through stages like it's not fair. Why my mom? Why my mom? And my mom lives in a retirement community and I moved in with her, okay? And
Mm.
so I would walk around and look at these other people who are way older than my mom and I get pissed off. Like why
Yeah,
are they healthy and my mom isn't? You know? And then I'd be like, why am I thinking this? Why am I thinking that? Why am I looking out my window going, that healthy 80-year-old bitch? You know? Like it just yeah, I would be like, what are you doing? You know, like just accept it and do your best with it, you know? So
yeah,
it's like, I don't know. Any any illness will do wild things to you, you know, as the loved one.
yeah. My prayers go out to you, man. We got this, though.
Thanks, you
We
too.
got this. If you could create a comedy special based on your life, what would you name it?
Um, I think if you're a comedian, you've thought about this a lot, you know what I mean? And the one that always kind of sticks with me is starts with an X. My name starts with an X, and it's something that I have to say all the time um, to people when they're like writing down, okay, or someone comes up to me after a show, oh, how do I find you? What's your name again? Xazmin. It starts with an X. So I'm always saying the words. It starts with an X. And when I was like, man, 15 years ago, I had a blog, and I was really proud of it, and I put a lot of effort into it. And it was called Starts with an X. And first time I got an Instagram, my handle was Starts with an X. Uh, and that's just kind of been something that stayed with me. I have a really good friend. His name's Sam Ike. He's a comedian too. And whenever I would go on stage and like if I would tell a joke that just crushed and everyone was laughing, he would yell out, starts with an X. And so it just is a term that just like, I don't know. I love those words. And I love that my name starts with an X because it makes me very unique, you know?
Well, Yasmin, what is your definition of chilling and vibing?
Ooh, okay. I know a lot of people associate it with weed, you know? Um, I don't smoke weed. I get really paranoid. So if I smoke weed, I'm gonna be doing the opposite of chilling and vibing, okay? So chilling and vibing for me is just like sitting around and connecting. It doesn't even have to be like your good friends. Like you can do that anywhere. You know what I mean? Like a good example of that is a comedy green room. You go
Mm,
into a green room, you're all comedians, you're going to have a bond, you know, and eventually you're just going to end up talking, shooting the shit. It doesn't matter if it's about comedy, about your life, you
mhm.
know, and then you're going to be like, let's get a drink. Should we ask the waitress for a drink? You know, and then we get a drink. You're relaxing, you're just chilling out. Pretty soon you're talking about your favorite shows or your favorite this, your favorite that. And it's just a warm feeling that happens between people. I love chilling and vibing.
What advice would you give someone wanting to start being a comic?
And someone who wanted to become a comic. Now, today, I would tell them start posting funny videos on the internet, you know? Um, get familiar with your voice in that way, and then start going to open mics. But a lot of people are really, really scared about doing their first open mic. And I feel like that's kind of a way to dip your toes in the water is just start making funny videos on the internet, you know? That would be my advice.
Xazmin, if somebody wanted to follow you on your socials, how could they do that?
Um, my Instagram is Xazminnie, and my name's Xazmin Garza, Garza. You just put that in any search, you're gonna find me because I'm the only Xazmin Garza in the world.
Well, on this planet, you know, it got
On this
Pluto,
planet.
Mars.
Yeah, I already know.
Well, Xazmin, I appreciate you for coming to chill and vibe. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing.
We're chilling and vibing.
Appreciate you.